Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, The Grimm Reader. I am The Grimm Reader and this is episode 25 of the Grimm Chronicles, where I give you an update on my reading from last week, even though it's Wednesday. Apologies. I've been a little bit up and down with everything because we're getting ready to have our floors, the carpet taken out and new flooring be put in. So as you can see, the books are all in boxes. Some have been taken away to half-price books. And we would also give some to our library, but our local library gets so inundated with people giving away their books that they kind of put a stop on that. I should call them and see if they'll take books. Anyway, so my reading, such as it were. I haven't finished anything. What am I reading? Let me think about. Oh yes, no, I did finish The Elementals, but I had actually talked about that last week so much that I don't think I want to talk a lot about it. The ending was a little bit... See, it's been a while already. The denouement, as it were, the solving of everything was unsatisfying. It's like, it was a little bit like, oh really, that's the explanation for all of this? But in a way it kind of fits with the rest of the book, which it kind of went down. It didn't get better. It didn't get a lot worse, but it was sort of unsatisfying, and the writing wasn't that great. I think I gave it 3, maybe rounded up from 2.5. So yeah, it made me realize that I really liked the Tamlin book by Pamela Dean, which was just better. It was a better book. It's an older book too, and I don't remember it that well, but I remember it being better. So we'll leave it at that. So that's the only book I finished. I am kind of getting back into Anna Karenina, and I truly love it. I've just finished the scene where Levin marries Kitty, and it's really well done. Tolstoy has this way of making you sort of on pins and needles that something terrible is going to happen, even like at a wedding ceremony. And they're so much in love, but yet, and I think it's because I think Levin is one of my favorite characters, because we see into his psyche. We see his. What I like about him is that he's honest. He's trying to sort of grapple with like the fact that he's an unbeliever, but he feels bad about it. He's honest and he also feels bad, which maybe I identify with that. Try and be honest, and I feel bad all the time. So he's sort of close to my heart, I think it's mainly because we see into him. We see his thought processes. I mean, I love all the characters. I don't love them, but I think they're all really well drawn. Vronsky, Anna, who that whole story is moving along, and now they're together, but you could just, we know what's going to happen at the very end, but I don't know how it's going to get there. And it's an amazing work of fiction. And hooray to the translators, because I couldn't read it in Russian. So yeah, I'm on a little over halfway, 464, and it's sort of moving along quite nicely. So the ones I haven't really gotten to, sorry, you're not even on the same thing, because that used to be books and I don't have those, so you're on something else. So this is the workbook, the one I'm going to be reviewing, and it's interesting because I just noticed there's a novel about the women in Hearn's life that has come out, and I forgot the name. Is it The Sweetest Fruits? It's like a new novel by a Vietnamese American writer, Monique, and I really want to get it and read it, perhaps in connection with studying or reading this book and reviewing this book of tales by Lafcadio Hearn, our guy. I don't know why there are 2 bookmarks in here. Anyway, but I haven't really been very good. I've been very much like, I don't want to do any work now, and even though I was enjoying it, I'm just too scattered to I should be reading it, but I'm not. But I will come back to it because I want to. And I've said I was going to read this, and I haven't been reading it. I will read it at some point. So these are all the only books I have left around me. My iPad, whatever I can get on there, and there is one that I'll tell you about in a second. This one is out. This one I kept out, and a Karenina I kept out. And then I just wanted to see if anyone else, I haven't really dug into it. English is a difficult language. I started the first story. Anyway, I decided to get a paper copy of the Paris Review, to subscribe to the Paris Review, which I do look at online a lot. And it's a renowned journal, literary journal, but I don't really know the history of it. I was going to look it up a little bit. I should do that. Anyway, I just wanted to show it to you and see if any of you subscribe to the Paris Review, and yeah, tell me if you do. Interesting art, poetry, sort of highfalutin stuff a little bit, which is fine by me. Arundhati Roy interview, that's cool. So yeah, maybe I thought this would be something nice to keep out and maybe dip into as our house is decomposed around us, so to speak. And yeah, so I think pretty short little video, but there is one last book that, so I have quite a few books on my iPad, including one that I've kind of set aside, the nonfiction book about the family connected to OxyContin, which I started, but I'm just not good with nonfiction. It just doesn't pull me in enough. But what is pulling me in, oh yeah, I'm still listening to my book, the Malazan, second book in the Malazan series. It's called Deadhouse Gates. And Bill, my husband, he started number 1, and he was sort of saying, well, when will you be done with number 2? Because it's a bit tricky to listen to the same book, because then you're all in different places, and Audible gets confused, and we have it together. So he was waiting for me to finish, and I told him I'm about halfway, but sometimes I'll even go back and re-listen to a chapter just because I still have 17 hours to go of that very long book. So he started something in the meantime. Guess what he started? He started Stephen King's The Stand. You know, if we're still in the tunnel of this pandemic, why not read about a different, even worse pandemic? Post-apocalyptic dark fantasy novel. And so what does Kathy do? She goes and gets a sample of it as an ebook, and I think I might try and read it. I didn't quite realize that it's over 1,000 pages long. And it says here something on the Amazon. It just says, the first description is huge and spellbinding. It sucks you in and doesn't let you go. It's like, yeah, in a way, that's kind of exactly what I feel like right now. Something that's narratively not difficult and that is kind of at that level. And I had a good experience listening to all of the Dark Tower novels. I liked them. I didn't love them. They're strange. So that's my experience with King, and I would like you all, I know at least, is AJ, there's people who are sort of really who've read a lot of King, and I would like you to sort of share your favorites. Like the early ones, Carrie, The Shining, Pet Sematary. You know, he's always been around, and I did have his book on writing that I kind of looked at because I thought maybe I should write, but I decided I hate writing. I don't really like to write, especially not fiction. Anyway, but in a way I needed to do a little exercise he has you do in that book to realize that. That's a long time ago. But so, you know, and I know that my mother respected him and sort of read his stuff. You know, she was sort of a writer too. And he's, you know, an interesting, very prolific, mainstream, you know, best-selling author. And he's not a terrible writer. He's actually, you know, he's readable. And I'm saying that as someone who could be a bit of a book snob, let's face it. You know, I haven't tried Dan Brown, but I have a feeling I would hate him. I don't know. Tell me if you think I wouldn't. And that's one thing that's keeping me going with the Malazan is the writing, even though I do have to say Deadhouse Gates, the second one, it's unrelentingly bleak, and it's all about people and creatures going through terrible, terrible things. So yeah, there is that. So yeah, it looks like I might be reading Anna Karenina, the second in the Malazan Empire, a huge book on the Audible, and now The Stand, a novel that has a very interesting publication history, the 2 parts of it. I don't want to read the preface yet. I'm gonna, you know, just dig in or dive in. But it's over 1,000 pages and it will take me forever. So when I see you, I've been watching some, or just dipping into some mid-year freakouts, and you're all like, oh, I read 87 books. I read 100 books. I read, you know, here I am with my 20-something books that I've read, but, you know, that did include things like the recognitions. So I really don't care that much. Plus, I've just been very scattered and frazzled with everything. So yeah, I'm not. And one thing here at the end I do want to sort of talk a little bit about is how I dipped into other other hobbies, mainly stationery related, and I do love that, and I've been watching a lot of videos, and I even kind of decided to pull back a little bit from even watching BookTube, and then I realized over yesterday and today that I really do miss it. It is the camaraderie, even though I'm kind of doing it at a very low-key level. You know, I don't do I kind of was honest about not wanting to do a lot of tags and all that stuff, and I don't do a lot of buddy reads because they stress me out, but I do like the camaraderie, and I kind of miss watching the booktubes, even though I'll have to sort of be careful. But I know some of you quite well by now, at least from your videos and from commenting, and you all know me somewhat. And even at that level, if it's not there, it's like something's missing from my life. So, you know, I'm back, at least as much as I can and want to be, and what I love about it is how everyone said nice things about that's okay. You know, do whatever you can and want to. Don't feel. In the beginning, I had this issue about always feeling compelled, and the minute it becomes a compulsion or an obligation, it sort of takes the joy out of it. But I did sort of notice how not having it at all in my life that's not the way to go either for me. So just I don't know if I'll go back to vlogging or anything. Next week's going to be interesting, just a live update in terms of when they actually do the floors. What's going to happen is I'm going to take my 3 cats to my school office. And there's a part of me that wants to at least kind of document that, at least in pictures or something, to have, you know, the day that, or the 2 days where the 3 cats will be in my office. The 4th cat can stay because he's outside kitty. But that'll just be so weird to have them at school. and it would only happen under these strange circumstances of not wanting them to have any kind of interaction with the people doing the floors, because I know it's not good for the people, because the cats might, you know, and the cats will be very freaked. Not to say they won't be freaked sitting in my office in their carriers, or I'll let them out of the carriers. I'll transform my little office into a cat-friendly area. But yeah, and even documenting the before and after of the floors, at least in pictures, and maybe even a video that I just shared, that I don't know if I'll ever put it up or anything, but you know, I've taken all the blog stuff down just because I still feel fairly good about that decision. So anyway, live updates here, but it was just sort of interesting to me how I realized how, in a way, you are my friends. You know, I do feel like I know you, and when you're not there, I miss you. So this is specifically addressed to the other booktubers, and then of course there's the audience of people who comment, and that's lovely too. And I need to come back and catch up with some of the comments on my videos. So there's different sort of circles, and then there's people who don't have a channel but are on Instagram, and it's actually a really nice social part of my life, which is for reasons that I've chosen because of being introverted and just, I don't want to say a misanthrope, but who likes to have a lot of downtime and not interact with a lot of people. It's kind of perfect in a way because you can sort of control it. Anyway, I'm just talking about silly stuff here. Well, no, it's not silly, it's important, but it's tangential to the books. So, Stephen King's on Twitter. I just see that here. Well, maybe I'll follow him. Anyway, I hope everyone is doing well, and thank you all for watching. Apologies for the late update. Hopefully I'll get back into a better routine of updating at least on Monday, or, you know, and then of course everything will change once school starts, because then I'll go back to Sunday updates for sure, probably just because of busyness during the week. Could never do a Wednesday one, that's a teaching day. So anyway, yeah, hope you're all doing well, and I will see you next week at some point, although next week is the floor week, so, well, probably I'll just update. I won't update on Wednesday, unless maybe from the office. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll update from the office with cats. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.